Hello, and welcome to another Warcraft 3 commentary, casting / whatever this is, audio thing, production by me. Yeah. So, today we have Sky as the human, here, versus a guy who I'm going to murder his name now, weishawang, Wang, I don't know. He's the undead spawning in the bottom. Left and right is always confusing. Spawning in the bottom right corner with Sky as the red player spawning in the top left. Obviously, Sky is the human. Shawang, I'm just going to call him Wang from here on. Wang is the undead. I believe this is for IEF. So, should be interesting. It's an IEF map. Well, it's in an IEF map folder. So, that's what I meant. Anyway, so yeah, this is Sky. His name is middle student right here for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. And this is Wang, who I don't know, but quite interesting. I do believe this is what we believe. I didn't quite catch it, but it looks quite a bit like what's it called? The Ted Fiends build, which is very standard against human. Like I've talked about in the other commentary, I think maybe even both of them, how there is a slightly different build where it still is fiends, but you get a couple goals early and you send a goal over to the harass, the human base a little bit. So this might even be that, and I don't really know. I didn't really get enough of it. I didn't really glimpse it, but it looked like since the crypt wasn't finished when this went up, I believe this is a Ted Fiends build, maybe slightly modified. The Gold Scout, I'm not sure. Whatever. Either way, they're really similar openings for the most part. There's some drastic differences. I do think this is actually a Ted Fiends, though. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a modified Ted Fiends at any rate. So yeah, and so we have the human over here, and he's going to go ahead and militia creep this camp. It's very common to see this happen. This is a very easy creep camp to have. It's great to take in the early game. Your goal here is pretty much to creep it out before the Death Knight gets here and decides to coil, steal any of the items, or any of the experience. You don't want that. Looks like that ghoul actually is going to go down. He's going to get trapped. He's going to get... Oh, and he picked up the item on his ghoul. He almost got away, and he actually managed to steal the item from that just by running away with the ghoul even though it died. So that was a pretty good play by Wang. Sky, however, did get the XP. Yeah, this guy got all of the XPs level 2. And he got a ghoul kill, so that's nice. And he also wasted a coil, Wing did, which is unfortunate, but that's life. He's getting this noob tower. Always good to have this against in the early game against human before you start your tag, just because if they send a lone footman, I don't know, like this guy right here. I just saw him down here, and to harass your acolytes, they can be quite annoying. So you always want to have that early Narub these days. It didn't used to be as standard, I don't believe, but it's something that's happened over the past year or two. Interesting. This is a map where I definitely think we could see. We're seeing a little bit of a skirmish between the footmen and the Death Knight and some skeletons. If that was 2 footmen, the Death Knight probably wouldn't be running away. He'd probably just be fighting it. He fought it a little bit, but when you get to 3, you start taking a lot more damage than you really want to. And now he's just trying to, say, hey, you know what, I'm going to kill that footman. I think he's going to get this footman. Yeah, he's absolutely going to get that footman. So one footman is going to go down. That'll be good. And one thing that's nice about this, we have some militia coming. But one of the really cool things about this is that, we're seeing a very nice use of the terrain right there. The trees, you can always fit one little single unit through, like a ghoul or an acolyte. Heroes, grunts, etc. can't fit through, so that's nice. We have some mercs out, and by that I mean I guess one merc, just a shadow priest, but very helpful. The undead is most likely going to go ahead and try to target and kill the shadow priest. It has the abolish. And it has heal, and as you saw, it abolished 2 skeletons, which is a bit of XP for the Archmage. This is a really, really good creeping out by Sky. He's absolutely just dominating this harass. The Death Knight has to run away. He's really low HP. This is pretty much the worst case scenario I think you can get as an undead player, short of losing your hero and a TP or something. This is pretty bad. The undead now officially really can't fight the human at all. The human's about to be level tier 3, or level 3, not tier 3. The expo is going to go up pretty much unharassed, basically, by this undead. The only thing that's going for the undead right now is he's going to still have his tech advantage. He did tech at the right time. That's not been slowed. And what's going to end up, we're going to be interesting to see happen here, is whether or not Sky is going to be able to come into here, stop the slaughterhouses from going up, stop the undead from leaving the base, basically denying the XP, denying the map control, denying the tech advantage. Really, that's what we're going to have to watch out and see. But as it looks like, the priority is probably going to be just grabbing level 3 first and then going through the base. Which is good because you want to have those nice level 2 water elementals. We have a footman scouting to see what's going on, to see where the undead is at. He's like, you know what, I think he's over here. However, the footman actually got netted by a creep, so he's probably going to drop that footman, which is a pretty good thing. It's pretty big when you're able to kill a footman before this incoming harass is going to be coming into your base, especially when you're behind like this in a game. So this was really good play by Wang, or maybe I would even say poor play by Sky for getting that footman netted, because it is easily avoidable, but he just sent it a little too far in, especially since it was just scouting. Anyway, one thing I think is a nice decision right now is that he hasn't started his tech to tier 3. I think he might want to hold off on that just in case, just until that slaughterhouse goes up is maybe what I would consider doing, just because, even though it looks like he's going to have to just because of the way he's done this, his resource management. But one of the nice things about that, even if it's just a coincidence, is if the human had came from up here and he came straight down this way, then it would be nice to have that Narub tower, the extra Narub bit, just to be there without having to cancel it. Because then he could have just invested in another Zig or a couple more fiends or something. So here we're seeing this is a little bit of a push. I like the fact that Sky went ahead and built a barracks right here. This is really good because he really wants to be able to have lots of space taken up with like big buildings, and that's really good. And a barracks is a huge building, as you can see. Level 0 masonry has 1500 life. A fiend is dropped. That's not good for the undead. That lich is a little bit precarious positioning. Almost got a surround off if Sky had turned around those foot, and it didn't. That's good. We have a lot of action basically going on, lots of fighting. The skeletons kind of not really doing much, they're just kind of chasing. Sky is basically out microing him, microing the undead. However, a footman is going to drop right here. It's definitely not a lot that the undead can do in this position. There's so many footmen, and it doesn't have a level 3 death knight, and I'm not entirely certain. I don't know what he's doing. That lich is definitely in a bad position. He's a little bit. The lich barely escapes being surrounded. He Novas to slow him, and he's hopefully going to be able to get out of this. He should be able to be just fine. He's got that aura. Yeah, he's gonna be just fine. He does get surrounded right there. However, I don't think he's gonna die because the Death Knight does have a lot of mana. This is gonna be really bad for Sky actually, because he basically just lost a lot of footmen. And actually, is that the lich? Oh, the lich got down to like less than 40 life. A fiend is probably gonna drop right here. A fiend goes down. The lich is running away. We have some skeletons that are on the Archmage. Sky is just keeping his Archmage from taking damage. He doesn't want it to get into nuke range on life. This is really all Sky is doing right here. He's making a lot of footmen. He's doing a really good job of keeping his expo from being harassed. And that barracks again was just a genius placement there, because obviously you have to come in here from here really to really do anything to the expo. And if the undead put his fiends right here, he's going to be in a really bad bottleneck, and he doesn't really want that. Not to say that you don't want a bottleneck as a fiend, because you're going to be ranged. That's good. The problem is that you won't have a lot of space to micro, because if militia come in from up here and the footmen are down here, you can get trapped. So your entire army could be trapped, and that's why that's bad. And it's also good because, if you had this much more space, it's a lot more space for the undead to micro. And one of the things you're really fighting in the early game as a human in this sort of these fights is the fact that the fiends are simply better at microing than the footmen are, unless you have a bunch more fiends or footmen than fiends. And that's what we saw when the footmen just put four footmen on each fiend. And there wasn't really a whole lot that Wang could do about it. So we're seeing 2 towers drop, which is really good. This is really good position actually for the undead to be turning this game around into. He's got a level 3 Death Knight, and his lich is on its way. He's picked off several footmen just from going as it is. Sky's not, I don't think, too terribly concerned about it. I still would say he's definitely got the advantage at this point. But it's one of those things. He's like, if he hadn't been picking off those footmen, then Sky would probably have an unmanageable number of footmen. He'd probably be up to 50 food, and he'd probably be able to just run into the base and put a couple on the acolytes, put a couple on the footmen, and just do a little bit of damage. I don't know if he would have done that, because he probably would have lost a lot in a fight like that if he had wanted to go for that. But I do think we would have seen that happen at some point. I'm not sure. either way, I don't, like I said, I'm just trying to say that I don't think Sky's done anything and it really put himself into a bad position. I think he's doing pretty well for himself right now. We do see a blacksmith going up for Sky. Masonry is being researched almost to his tier 2. The undead is getting very close to tier 3. He's got those statues coming out. He's going to do some kind of a destro push, absolutely. A fiend destro push could be devastating against a heavy footman army like this. It's going to be a lot of XP for the undead, and as I've repeatedly said in the past, hero levels are really the big thing here in this matchup. So if the undead can pull out a big enough hero level advantage, he will be a-okay, and he could potentially end up killing all of these footmen. However, I will say this, that I think we just saw a fiend die. I think he might have died to those creeps. That's a little bit unfortunate. This is actually what's going on right now, is kind of a ring around the rosy type deal on this map, which is, in my opinion, kind of famous for it, is what this map, because this is basically just a big circle, and you have to chase them if they're coming this way, because, you know, they're going to come to your base otherwise, and so you can't really ignore them, so you have to kind of chase them, and they just run away, and so it's a little bit of a frustrating thing. We do see the Zeppelin going off. We don't have a web research yet, so actually, the Zeppelin's just like, or maybe we do have a web, it looked like we didn't, but I can't tell you if web is researched or not. It looked like the Zeppelin was in web range for quite some time and it didn't get webbed, so it doesn't look like there is a web. Destroy research is almost done. Sky at this point really looking to just do harass, delay this destro push as long as he can. He's putting up those extra towers. You know, he's got the masonry. He's probably upgrading another level. Yeah, he's upgrading another level of masonry. He is just trying to prepare for this incoming destro push. He is not. It's not too many destros. It's like it's gonna be 5 destros. Is what it looks like here. There's enough mana for that. However, he's gonna be hitting the undead at the same time as the undead hits his expansion. This could be quite devastating for the undead if he kills those acolytes and he kills that gold mine. That could spell good game. We're gonna see. I don't know. It'll be very, very interesting here. The undead is going ahead and he's picking off these towers, but what's he gonna do? Because he's gonna TP back to his base. He didn't lose any acolytes yet, but that gold mine is running down life very quickly. Only 2 towers are left right there. We're gonna see basically this fight's gonna be a slaughter. He's gonna pick off the Zeppelin, just absolutely destroy those footmen, no problem. So that was a good move by the undead. He went ahead and if he goes immediately back to this expo, he's going to be able to still take it out. He's got enough momentum. Oh, but he does get trapped and he has to unsummon his graveyard, which is quite unfortunate. You never really want to have to unsummon your graveyard. You never want to be trapped, especially when you're a time-sensitive thing. As you can see, he's running in the destros anyway. He's like, this is time-sensitive. If all of those towers go up, then my tower push was nothing, and I'm going to be in a really bad spot. So as you can see, he's just trying to do it, but looks like he's going to run right out of time. That's unfortunate for him. It was really well played by Sky. Sky's went ahead and brought in an invisible Archmage. I think he really wants to kill this haunted gold mine. I think, though, he's probably going to end up trying to focus on those acolytes because there's no way he's going to get that haunted gold mine dead just with this stuff. Maybe if he had this footman here, but he doesn't. We have some riflemen out on the field, which are quite nice to have against this sort of composition. However, by themselves, they are not very useful. So, let's see. Is he planning? I'm sure he's planning to get more, some breakers, maybe some casters, because he needs that to support the rifles. Absolutely. The Archmage did attempt to do something. I'm not sure what he did. I don't know. It looks like he might have did nothing except bought a little bit more time, and that's what he needs to do right now, because the undead isn't creeping right now. And the undead isn't killing the expo. He's not really picking off a lot of human units. He's just kind of defending. I'm not sure what the undead is planning to do. However, I do know that for the human right now, this is a good position to be in. Again, he's gone invisible on his Archmage. And so I'm assuming he's just really, really looking to buy time. We have 2 destroyers left in the base, presumably to deal with any kind of incoming human harass. I'm not sure. I thought there were some guard towers there that I'd upgraded. Maybe the undead killed them. Either way, we have more being built. So, yeah, the undead is about to lose a fiend to towers, maybe? Yeah, he just lost a fiend to towers. Never a fun thing. However, the human doesn't get experience for that, so that's good. Not really much going on here. The human's just kind of denying a little bit of wood right there. Not a hugely big deal. The undead does have plenty of wood right here. And it looks like he's going to drop another tower. I don't think he's going to really be able to push into these towers, but I do think he's going to be able to keep picking off peasants with nukes and such things, which is good. As you can see, the DK is level 4, the Lich is level 3. it's definitely not a bad position for the undead right here. However, I don't think he has an orb. Yeah, he doesn't have an orb yet, which is a little bit odd. Definitely a little bit odd. Doesn't really have the money for an orb, but he's gone into upkeep without an orb. I can't quite explain that. I guess it's because he's not really doing a lot of fighting against the human army just yet, so he doesn't really need it as much, which is true. You definitely don't, because it doesn't affect buildings. However, I just do find that odd. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit of an odd choice. It's 375 gold. I'm not going to say I think it's a bad decision. I think it's an intriguing decision is what it is. And I think some could call it very smart because as he's very concerned right now, but as you can see, very concerned with being very efficient with his gold that he does have, as basically what's happened so far is just a lot of, you know, cat and mouse, and basically just building attacks. And I like how we have this meat wagon out. It took a little bit of hits from that arcane tower, but it's gonna be fine. Wagon's very, very effective versus the town hall, so that's good. Wagon pushes are excellent. Here we see these destroyers. These two destroyers that he's been keeping at his base have been quite instrumental. It looks like they've been picking off footmen, been keeping those water elementals from just sticking around. Really an annoying little thing. And also, like I said, just to emphasize again about the whole orb thing, there really haven't been a lot of fights where the undead really would have benefited from an orb. He's just been, it was either fights where he just didn't have enough units to take the fights, or in this town hall, this expansion is getting quite low on life, so he's gonna have to start repairing it. And now that means Sky is gonna have to start making units, so I expect we'll see an orb soon. But like I said, we just hadn't seen a lot of big unit versus unit fights, and so I think we're gonna start. That's gonna change here soon. One wagon is about to go down. I believe a rifleman died right there. I think that's what it was. The Mountain King is just kind of gonna go ahead and finish picking it off. That Archmage is quite low, but he got an Invul Pot off. He put in a few hits on that wagon, but there's definitely no way he's gonna keep it alive. That town hall is going to die. Look at this. There's just not enough peasants repairing it. 2 wagons will kill it. Look at that. And down goes the town hall, right? Yep. Goodbye, town hall. This is a really good position, actually, for the undead at this point. Wang is absolutely turned this game around from the start. He absolutely could win this game right now. He has 2 wagons. I don't think he needs to focus on these, on the towers, because I think he could see a little bit better benefit from coming up here and maybe focusing on the workshop over there. But either way, he's definitely doing really, really good. And he's basically just saying, you know what, you're not going to build another town hall here, and that's good because he doesn't have an expo himself. He's just going to leave those 2 wagons here to work on those on the towers while he goes over here and gets some more creep and experience, which is what he needs. He needs experience badly. I will be interested to see if he goes ahead and goes for a 3rd hero or not. He's rebuilding his graveyard finally, and he's getting a 2nd crypt, so I'm interested to see if he's going to start going like lots of fiends or if he's going to try to do some kind of guard build with his destroyers. Either way, we do see these gyrocopters coming in here. He definitely doesn't have web. He's basically almost killed a destroyer. I don't think he killed any of the destroyers with that. He has run his wagons back out. The town hall at the expansion is starting to be rebuilt. Very interesting. The gyrocopters are completely unupgraded. The undead units are completely unupgraded, so it's quite interesting. The human's tree hero right now is pretty weak. The important thing that really helps make the human tree hero so strong is the paladin or the mountain king levels. And since they're both level 1, I don't think the undead's really too concerned. I think he can definitely win pretty much any fight that he takes right now because he is almost level 5 on his death knight, and I believe level 3 on the lich, level 4 on the lich. Yeah. So he's definitely at the hero level advantage. The one thing that we're going to see interesting here is how these destroyer versus gyro flying machine fights pan out. We have web finally being researched, a little bit late. We have the orb being picked up, which is good because when he's going to start to focus down those heroes, that's going to be a lot of extra damage. That town hall is not going to go back up. It does not look like. We have some militia coming into the fight. The human has decided to kind of attack from both sides. However, I don't think he really has enough units to do much here. That paladin could drop. He does have a healing potion. A lot of those flying machines are drying. The destroyers are quite rough and ragged, but they're doing just fine. A lot of the militia have died. I believe the paladin may have been staffed out. The paladin was staffed out. The mountain king just doesn't have a lot of experience. He's still less than halfway through level 1. The town hall is going to drop right there, even though it just went up, but it's not going to really go. It didn't drop yet, but it's probably going to drop right about here any second. More of the flying machines are going to drop. Mountain King is taking a lot of focus, but he's level 2, and he does have healing scroll now. So off goes the healing scroll. He has boots of speed. That town hall has actually survived. which is quite amazing. There's no more wagons. We see a blizzard going off. I think he's completely abandoned the water elementals, of course, because there's all those destroyers that he couldn't take out. And as you can see, that's a lot of damage being done to all of those fiends. The Mountain King is again running away. He's basically just distracting them. He's kept his town hall alive, which is quite impressive considering he just didn't really have a force that was actually capable of defeating the undead army. But he did. He was able to delay it. Sorry about that. I ran out of something to drink, so my throat is just not happy with me. Anyway, so back to the game. I never really stopped. But yeah, so we're just seeing a lot of cat and mouse here, and this has really been the theme of the whole game. Cat and mouse, cat and mouse, cat and mouse. And flying machines are incredibly cheap units, so he's going to be able to just keep making a bunch of these. And I think that's what he's banking on. Winning by keep sending flying machines at him. It's a bit of a risky strategy because you're basically going to be feeding a lot of undead experience. However, the undead isn't tree hero, so it's less risky, a little bit more viable. Basically, in a sense, you're saying, I need experience and I can kill your destroyers. And once those destroyers are gone, then he's going to be able to switch to like knights. He's going to be able to get mortars, and he's going to really be able to just handle a fiend-based army, no problem. But as long as those destroyers are in the air, he's going to have problems. And that's where all these bad boys come in. We're pretty much probably going to walk in and just absolutely walk over 4 destroyers. There's only 3 fiends in the field, 2 statues, so it's not looking very good for the undead. Sky has handled this incredibly well, by getting that expo back up. That was quite an amazing play, buying his time, not taking a bad fight. That first fight that he took to delay the killing of the town expo, the rebuilding of it, was absolutely impeccable. Strategical genius. It was perfect timing. Hold on.
The player's forces are under attack.
Sorry about that. I had to get something to drink. It was awful. Okay. Yeah. So I realized I just missed a bit of that. The destroyers are gone. That's a lot of fiends. He's definitely been able to reinforce his fiends, but again, I think this is playing into Sky's hands. I think he's just going to switch to different units. However, it's not as big of a deal, actually, because looks like the main gold mines have run out.
A player's forces are under attack.
So again, we're seeing a lot of Blizzard just wearing down the units. The undead Wang made a mistake right there by letting that statue be in tower range, and it died. It's a pretty big mistake right now because having 2 statues, even at no mana, they regenerate mana, would have been a really big help compared to just 1, which also has no mana. So that's kind of an issue. This Blizzard is being absolutely used to devastating effect. The undead cannot do what he wants. He can't just sit there. He doesn't have enough mana to sit there and keep nuking. And this is pretty bad. This is looking really, really bad for the undead. I think his only chance at this point would possibly be to go put up an expo, a counter expo at the other gold mine right here. But that would be quite risky, quite time consuming, and I'm not sure it would work because, as you can see, Sky is getting those knights like I predicted. Which will absolutely roll over a fiend-based army. Actually, it looks like he's brought in some wagons. Looks like he's going to pull in a all-or-nothing attack here, because if this fails, this is it. This army is his last hope, and if it gets picked apart, he's not going to be able to come back from this, I don't think. So we're seeing basically Sky's micro is quite impressive. The way he's just moving units around on the map, he's keeping things in touch. He's making sure nothing is taking too much focus fire while he keeps doing damage. So it's quite nice. The Archmage got very close to dying right there. He almost got coiled. If he had got coiled, he probably would have died, but he TP'd out just in time. We see the undead. The rest of his units are coming in. He's like, I gotta make this work. There are towers here, however, so there's not a lot he can do. The human is still getting resources. The undead isn't. This could be quite bad for the undead. I think he might have enough money to... Nope, doesn't have enough money to even upgrade even one of those statues. But however, he does have a full mana statue at this point. It's good. And he is 5/5, so it's not completely bad for him. But he really, really, really needs to go creep out this over here. Get this expo going or something. Because he's not going to be able to keep this up like this. I don't think. Not between staff usage for the human, who's going to be able to keep preserving his heroes. It just doesn't look very likely. It looks like this is what he needs to do. He's coming over here. It looks like he's going to go ahead and try to get this expo up. A really good move if he does. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough this late at this point because we do see those the knights coming out, but it absolutely could work. He just needs to defend it and keep it alive. However, we do see the human going ahead and going for level 3 on his Mountain King. If he gets level 3 on his Mountain King and his Paladin, which might happen, I believe, if he creeps this as well as this, then I do think that would spell doom for the undead player, who is level 5/5, but 5/5 I don't think is going to beat 4/3. Because the human tri-hero is very, very strong, and the undead just doesn't have a tri-hero, which is unfortunate. If you had a silence, if you had a sleep, if you had an impale, if you had something to add to this equation to really help take down a hero, I think he'd be okay. But as it is, he can't really afford a third hero yet, and he needs that third ability. But I don't think it's gonna happen. So it looks, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say I think this is bad, especially because we do have the Book of the Dead coming out. He's gonna need a destroyer for that, absolutely. He does have enough mana to turn both of those statues into destroyers. I think that would be his best bet right here, is to turn those into destroyers and try to take this fight, kill one of the heroes, kill the knight. I think that is his best goal, his best hope. He's the Book of Dead has been summoned by Sky. Fiend goes down. He does go ahead and summons those destroyers. He gets a ton of mana on one of them. Full heal from almost dead. He's going for it. He's trying to pick things off. He's keeping a Fiend alive, but forces a TP. This is really, really good for him because he needs more time. He's just trying to buy time at this point, do as much damage as he can. Once this expo gets up and running, he'll be in good shape because he has plenty of wood and he still has a wood goal. So he's going to be fine on wood, and he just needs that gold. And once that gold gets rolling, he'll be in fine shape. If he can make it just a little bit longer into the game, this expo is going to run out of money and Sky is going to be starved to death. However, Sky is now creeping here, and it looks like he has 4/3, really not good. His army isn't very large. That's probably the only thing I can really say that's good for the undead right now. But he really needs to grab a third hero, I believe. He really needs to get some abominations out, I think, just to help deal with the fact that there's going to be these ground knights. And Sky has a lot of money. He's got a lot of resources, and he's just banking at 50 because he knows he doesn't have to fight. He knows that he can wait a little bit longer. Let this go up. Let the Undead's expansion go up. Push past 50 food and just roll over him, which is exactly what I think we're going to see happen here because, again, 5/5 just isn't going to be 4/3 in this sort of a situation. I really don't think it will. I could be wrong. We'll see. I kind of hope we are because I always like to root for the Undead because, you know, I'm an Undead player, but I think we're going to see that the Sky is just going to go ahead and steamroll him right here, which is unfortunate. However, this could be a lot closer than I think. That's just a lot of flying gyros. The destroyers that he does have are going to die very quickly, I think. And he doesn't have a lot of fiends. He only has 3 fiends and 2 heroes to deal with all of this. So it doesn't look too good for me, or for the undead, for Wang. But this has been a great, entertaining game so far. So whatever happens right here, and I think this is going to be it, because we're seeing some militia coming in. Sky saying, you know what, I'm going to kill this expo, and it looks like there's really nothing that Wang can do. He can't get there very quickly. He doesn't have a TP there. We're seeing scout towers go up. This is really bad. This is really, really bad. He needs to kill a hero or something to stay in this game. He went for the Paladin. The Paladin's Defiant Shield has gone up. It's almost down. When it starts blinking, it means they have 10 seconds left. But it looks like, it looks really not like it's good because another Fiend has dropped. 2 Fiends are down. He is down to 1 Fiend left. The Lich is not got a lot of life. The DK doesn't have a lot of mana to keep this up for too long. I mean, he has a lot of mana, but not... I don't know what I'm saying there. Yeah, anyway, this is a problem because as long as the Lich is taking this much kind of damage, the Undead can't coil offensively. Another Fiend goes down, and the GG is called. So, good game. Well played by both. Sky takes the win. Awesome. Awesome game. Sorry about the whole coughing and bit. That was really cool, though. I thought that the Undead had that game because he started off really poorly, but he really had a really excellent middle game. But I have to say this again because this was just really cool. How well Sky handled the pressure and from being behind. That was some excellent play by Sky. I have to say. I have to comments. Whatever. It's too late. All right. Good game, guys.